Hello there, Joe Hennessy. The name of the channel is The Children. On YouTube, it's Joseph Hennessy 1161. I'm just looking for like-minded souls, empaths, star seeds, rainbow warriors who are part of the Hopi Indian prophecy for this time, who will help Mother Gaia ascend to the fifth dimension. Spiritual beings, witches, warlocks, good ones though. People are just tired of the Matrix because we live in a movie, a program movie. And I'm even living in my own movie. I think my life might someday could be a book because all the things that have happened to me during the course of my life you couldn't make up. All the signs, the synchronicities, having a motorcycle accident and landing on my feet with no helmet after falling off the motorcycle going 75 miles an hour. Just standing looking at the traffic coming at me. There's just way too many coincidences. There aren't. There are signs of synchronicities. Like I shared before, being in a jail cell with a kid who had the same birthday as me. Our moms had the same birthdays. My dad died on the same day his son was born, different years. This stuff you can't make up. Me meeting my twin flame, how that all came about. You just can't make it up. It would take way too long for me to go through the last 5 years of my life and tell the whole process of the signs and synchronicities, because there's been thousands of them. The lights through the skies, the numbers, music, license plates. They come in all different shapes, forms, and variations from the universe. It's been unbelievable. The ride to the ascension has been incredibly tough. I wouldn't change it for anything, but I wouldn't want to do it again. So that's my job, is just to keep informing people, stay positive, be a beacon of light, spread unconditional love, even though people out there might accuse me of being a racist when I try to state obvious things to people about what is happening to people of color. So the person who accused me of being a racist, I'd be more than happy to debate him live on Facebook, YouTube, wherever. That's all I can proposition, because you sending text messages back and forth, if there's no human inflection in what you're talking about, then you really don't get the point. But certain ethnic groups have been programmed to think that white man is bad. And I'm not even from California, United States. I was born in Northern Ireland. I come from a country where racism is due to your religion. So it's pretty weak for somebody to come at me and say that I'm a racist, and that's all they kept saying when I was firing back valid talking points about what's going on in their communities. All they could keep doing was trying to race bait me and get me to say something nasty. But it wasn't going to happen. So that's an open invitation if that person is watching. Like I said, unless those words are coming out of your mouth, you really can't understand what somebody means by a statement unless there's a voice inflection behind it. But anyway, enough of that nonsense. Another thing I wanted to speak about is spike protein, blood clots that are happening to a lot of people who are vaccinated. There's a Dr. Peter McCullough who has a detox program that will help you out immensely if you took the vaccine and you're worried about any side effects that might be happening, because they are happening. And if YouTube takes this video down for telling the truth, then so be it. I'll just find another platform, but I'm not ever going to be quiet. You do your own research, you do your own digging, which means you can read. 5 years ago, when everybody was lining up to take an experimental vaccine, they told you not to do your own research, to trust the scientists. Well, why would anybody trust a scientist? Because scientists don't even trust themselves, because they're supposed to question their own work over and over again. So I don't trust science. I trust my eyes and the knowledge that I've received in the past 3-4 years to what has really happened. But anyway, Dr. Peter McCullough has a spike protein detox, and I suggest that you Google him, and you might want to give it a try. I'm telling you, it'll help. especially if you've been having what they call long-term COVID, which means you were injured by the vaccine. And that's just God's honest truth. If you have the COVID flu, it should go away. What does long COVID mean? If it's something that's with you all the time, that means it's a permanent injury, doesn't it? So Dr. Peter McCullough, it will definitely help with the detox because you need to get that spike protein out of your blood so your immune system can do its job. So with that, that's just a suggestion. Another thing I wanted to speak about is Venezuela. The optics are Trump just wants the oil, but the real truth is when we go to the fifth dimension, there is a lot of natural resources that we're going to need for the AI that we are going to need to do all the remedial labor that we will no longer be able, will not be able to, we won't have to do anymore. The AI will do all of it. Has nothing to do with oil or him trying to hoard those natural resources because it's going to be used for the greater good of all humanity. Donald Trump, when he came down the escalator the first time, says they're giving the country back to the people. But this time what he's doing, he's giving the world back to the people. We're going to be free. So Venezuela is a big hub for the deep state of China and Russia to where they're getting gas for practically free under the guise of protection. So sounds like the mafia to me. And that's what all the world governments are mafia, except for the one guy who's not a politician, Trump. They're all mafia. So Venezuela is about the natural resources. And on top of that, the guy was a dictator. He's head of one of the biggest cartels on the planet. He freed the Venezuelan people. They were dancing in the streets. Happy, joyous, and soon to be free like the rest of the planet. You got to stop watching the mainstream news because all they do is tell lies. Do your own research. Do your own digging. Start reading. Their narrative is all BS. Same with the lady in Minnesota who got shot for impeding the ICE agents. And if you don't think you don't live in a matrix, she got shot a quarter mile away from where George Floyd got shot. And there's idiosyncrasies and signs that happen that coincide to make it look like we do really live in a matrix. You can't make up things that happen. Like they were showing something on Facebook to the distance was, and the numbers and everything that happened between the two murders. You couldn't make it up. I can't exactly remember what it was, but there was this signs and synchronicities to where, you know what, you live in a matrix. You can't make this stuff up. JFK and Abraham Lincoln, the signs and synchronicities between their presidencies was incredible, uncanny. The names, the numbers, the years, what happened to them, exactly the same. We live in a matrix. That's what it's all about. There's not going to be three isolated world powers because there already are the world powers. Trump is supposedly trying to neck off the gas to China and Russia, which is understandable, but if you don't think you live in a matrix, why don't we just stop buying everything from China? Then they can't buy gas because they have no money to buy the gas. We buy everything from China because they say it's cheaper. Well, why is it cheaper there? They're human beings like us. It's a matrix. It's a setup. That's why we're going to the one world currency. That's why he shut down the government when it was shut down the last time, so he could get in there and change the infrastructure. I'm going to say this over and over again. President Trump is not a politician. They all hate him. All the U.S. government is funded by AIPAC, Big Pharma, Big Tech. They all work for somebody. They don't work for us. They hate the man. It never stops. It's always personal things with him. I shared this in the last video. Water damage in California, levee breaks. They've had the problem for 50 years. Never fixed the problem. But they say it's Trump's fault because there's no federal funds. Well, why didn't he fix the problem when the Democrats were in power? The $25 million bounty out on Maduro by Joe Biden. Trump catches him. He's a horrible human being because all he has is altered plans for his own benefit. He doesn't need the money. The guy had plenty of money. He's the only president who's ever lost money being the president. All the rest of the bastards come out filthy, stinking rich. They all do. Our government works for themselves. They launder our money all over the world. Look what's happening in Somalia. They're trying to make it a black thing. It has nothing to do with it. Billions of dollars being funneled back to Somalia. The same people who killed our soldiers in Black Hawk Down. It makes no sense. All the world governments are all on the same team. They all work for the deep state, the Illuminati, the Vatican, the royal families, the Rothschilds. You have the 13 families. They're the ones who run the planet. All the old oligarch money from the 1800s in the United States, the Gettys, the Thorntons, people who built the railroads. Where do you think they went? They're hiding in the background, calling the shots. It's changing. The matrix is crumbling slowly but surely. But we need people to wake up. They are waking up. I even noticed that around me. I shared it in my last video. People are way more receptive to what I say to them now. That if you look around to everything that's going on and what they do to us and what they don't do for us, all they do is steal our money. We live in a third world country. What happened? The prices of everything. Nobody can afford to even eat. The homelessness, the sicknesses. We should be getting better as a society, but we're getting worse. Technology is getting better and we're getting sicker. All day long I can sit here and tell you, you eat a credit card worth of plastic every week. The bugs that are inside, the parasites that are inside the food, they can keep fruit looking fresh up to a year. On and on and on. But you're waking up one person at a time. Not fast enough, but we're doing it. Once we raise that level of consciousness, it's on, and we're off to the fifth dimension. Happy, joyous, and free. For me, it's all about the children of Mother Gaia. And we all benefit. So let's raise our frequency, love each other, be authentic. Enjoy your life. Even if you're having a rough time, try to smile, try to laugh. We need to raise that frequency, even though everything around us is falling apart. I've learned to send love and light to everybody, but I know what's coming, and I know what's happening with everybody. People are passing on to the next dimension, made their decision to do this for the greater good of humanity. And like I said before, once we get to the fifth dimension, the veil will be lifted to where we can communicate with our elders, our relatives, all our ancestors, the archangels, all your spirit guides, whoever you like. You're going to be able to astral travel to different planets, different realms. We are infinite beings who never die. So my buddy who just passed away, I know he's not dead. He's probably laughing at me right now. And I look forward to speaking at his funeral. I'm going to say things that he was afraid to say. Because I'm the one with the big mouth. I have no problem speaking my truth. There's millions of people like me, and many are just, they're not comfortable speaking the way I do about what's coming. about how we live on a slave planet, how we've been indoctrinated to accept everything. They can't do anything to us until we tell them it's okay. That's what they do, and a lot of it's done by fear. Keep us in fear. False evidence appearing real. So they do it all the time. They create false evidence to keep us scared, which is fear.
I would not like to do that.
But anyway, stay positive, vibe high. Everybody have a great day.